All right, what is going on, guys? It's time for the Necro. We're going to be playing on players 8, as you can see. We do have a little bit of gear ready, but it's not going to be as streamlined as the Paladin was, because we don't have any early gear. So we have the Trangs for later. We have a tiara. Pretty nice, not bad at all. Obviously, we have our Peasant Crown, our Lore, and a Worm Skull for level 21. We have the Spirit and the Stealth that are going to be waiting for us. A Curse's Grand Charm might not even be useful, but we have it. We do have an Arm and an Umaze. Probably going to use the Arm, but is it going to be better than the Spirit? Maybe not. Depends. We'll give it a shot. We did get a couple wands from Akara to help us out in the early game, so we're going to get some extra Raised Skeleton amp damage and some extra Skeletal Mage amp damage and Skeletal Mastery. Pretty sweet for level 12. We got the Homunculus for later, and we do have this little bad boy, just a level 4 upgrade. We have the Infernal, Sign, and Cranium, but not the Torch. Not the best. I'm hoping that if we do find the Torch, then we can use this. Otherwise, it's probably not worth it. And then we have a couple rings and amulets here. Unfortunately, this stuff is really not going to help us until later on. So, without further ado, let's get started. Put these on some bindings, and yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be a little bit rough compared to the Paladin. The Paladin had auras.
All
the
who
Paladin,
oppose me, beware.
Yes, beware. The Paladin had some really good gear too. Like by level 6 or 7, we were using full Sig, which was phenomenal. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit more rough. But we're going to do some experimenting. We're going to check out this build and that build and see what we can actually do.
I need a key.
But yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Like I said, we're going to be trying this out on players 8. If it ends up becoming impossibly slow, then we won't. The main reason why I decided let's do players 8 is because we had the gear. Right, with the Paladin, it was a no-brainer. With this build, though, it might be ridiculously difficult. And if it's going to be so slow that it's just not fun to play or fun to watch, then we'll switch it up. Okay, we can go to 3 skeletons. But I feel like eventually the skeletons are not going to be what we want. We're probably going to want some Corpse Explosion, some Bone Spear, but we'll see. I'm not super familiar with the Necro. I think back in the day as a kid, I probably played full summons. And on players 1, that might be okay. I feel like on players 8, it's going to be real slow. Just get my S. Or X, I mean. Put it on my teleport. Or town portal. What am I saying? Jeez. Anyways, one thing I wanted to quickly mention, guys, is please, I'd love some feedback. You know, the last couple characters, the Sorceress and the Paladin, I pretty much released unedited content of essentially 1 video per act, us going through the game. I wanted to know, like, do you guys like that kind of content, especially now that we're on the 3rd character? Would you prefer maybe that I just condense it? Maybe we want 1 episode for normal and then 1 for Nightmare and 1 for Hell, or maybe even just 1 for the entire leveling process, maybe just like a 40 or 50 minute video of us getting through. I'd love to know what you guys are interested in. Obviously, I'm gonna do what's fun and you know, we're gonna have a good time. But if there's a heavy crowd telling me that it's not too much fun to watch these slow playthroughs, or maybe you guys love it
within this place.
But let me know. For now, I plan on just doing it the same way, mostly unedited. If it ends up being ridiculously slow, which I'm kind of feeling it might, considering this is this is already taking a lot longer than it did on the Paladin. Then I might edit out some of the boring parts. But for now, the main idea is to show you guys the struggle, you know? And with that, you also get a little bit of a glimpse into the power spikes, and I think that that can be a lot of fun. That probably one of my favorite things about Diablo is that you can feel so weak. You know, you're struggling so hard, and then you hit a certain level, or you hit a break point, or you get one good drop, and all of a sudden, life is good. And that's so much fun. But I guess we'll see how it goes. We're gonna be respecking a lot. So I mean, like I said, right now we're going pretty heavy into the skeletons. But once we have enough points, maybe it would be better to just kind of throw everything into the bone skills. I think Corpse Explosion scales pretty well because it scales with the life of the corpse, right? So as we increase the player's count, the life of the monster increases, therefore the damage increases. Seems like a no-brainer. However, I did make a poll, and you guys voted heavily in the favor of Poison Nova. So as soon as we hit 30, that's what we'll be switching to. Not to say that we won't be using skeletons, not to say that we won't be using Corpse Explosion, but it's going to be mainly Poison Nova. So yeah, I can definitely tell already that this is going to be a much slower run. But I'm here for it. I think once we have a little bit more gear, I'm still working on getting an Enigma. I'm still working on even like a Bramble. I was just looking at this rune word. I mean, we got 25 to 50% poison skill damage. Thorn's Aura could be cool. And 100% poison resist. See, that interests me. Because if we're going to be using the Poison Sunder, I mean, that could really help. That basically means that we can wear the Poison Sunder 24/7 and not have to worry about the hit to our poison res because we have a ton. That's one thing that's really tough about the Sunders. You know, it's hard to appreciate them when they hurt you so bad to use, right? Like the minus resistance is so huge. Yeah, see, this is rough. I remember on the Paladin, we couldn't believe how much damage we were outputting with just Holy Fire and a couple pieces of SIGs. It's definitely nice with the amplified damage. The problem is that it doesn't get stronger, right? Like 1 point into amp damage is the 100%. Which is great that it starts at 100, but the fact that it doesn't get better is a little bit rough. So for now, we'll just keep doing Mastery. And we'll slowly get through this. And a lot of the upgrades that we have, I'm hoping that they'll make a big difference. The problem is that they're all... I mean, 21 is the earliest upgrade that we have. So, yeah, we're going to be struggling for a little bit. But yeah, it'll be worth it. Like I said, once we have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of upgrades, later on, I think a Poison Nova Necro, and I'm sure we'll try other builds as well, but the Necro is going to be really cool for running certain maps, like the Pits is a really good Poison Nova build, but we definitely need a lot of setup. And I'm still working on it. We got the Paladins doing Chaos runs. My Sorceress is back to doing Lower Cross runs because I'm addicted to Lower Cross and I just want to get a big rune drop, please. Please. I've been so dry, but yeah, I'll probably have another Lower Cross loot video out soon. And hopefully we can get an Enigma. That's like another 60 levels until we can use that, but it would help dearly. Oh, and of course, the very big ticket item, the whole reason why we're making a Necro, is because we rolled the Necro Torch. So, you know, when we hit 75, we're going to have a huge, huge bonus. We have a 2017 Necro Torch waiting for us. That's going to be incredible. What am I missing? How am I missing so many that I don't even have the quest tip for 5 left? What? Oh, that's amazing. What? Is this some kind of glitch? Okay, there we go. Monsters remaining 5. I had to actually redo the whole thing. As if it wasn't already slow enough for me, you know? Unbelievable. Well, at least we are a little bit over level now. We got our clay golem. Level 7, and I guess I'll just keep going with the mastery. It's actually not too slow yet. But good lord. I've never seen that before. I've never done the den and triple checked it, and there's nothing left. But it didn't even say 5 or less. It just didn't even say anything. Absolutely crazy, if you ask me. We'll take that for now. It's not a bad charm for level 14, but I don't think we're too worried about life. And we can get rid of that. Okay, cool. So now we have a bunch of gold. Let's get these out of the way. Now we're picking up the chip gems because they can repair our, we have a, what's it called? A teleport staff. Sorry, I was blanking there. We have a teleport staff, and I know that you can repair it with ort and a chip gem, and it's always a little bit rough to find chip gems when you're doing hell, so. Okay, sweet. Those are nice. And the Naggle ring. That's sweet. I'm gonna have to grab another Naggle ring off of my sorceress, because maybe the MF helps us find something decent early on. Maybe some grail items, or maybe some upgrades. So, awesome. Okay, let's go and do Raven, if we can find her. Yeah, that is really weird. I've never seen that. I did a little bit of searching online. Some people have complained about the same thing. All of the comments, though, they're like, well, you probably just missed a little guy. And go back and check for him, and you'll realize that it's just a you problem. But I'm gonna play a sped up version of what I just did, so you guys will see. I swear I checked every corner twice. That's crazy to me. Oh well though, we got it done. One thing I'm really missing from some of the newer ARPGs is being able to tell where your minions go. I know I played a little bit of Last Epoch, and I had a lot of fun. I played a Wraithmancer, and while I was leveling him, he had a ton of little skeletons, skeleton archers and skeleton warriors. And I think if you press the A key, you can actually tell it where to attack or where to move, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's a little bit frustrating that you can't do that in Diablo 2. Sometimes you get, you know, like you have these big groups, and if one skeleton is fighting, like if each skeleton is fighting a different monster, it can be really slow. But this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be, and we'll just have to take our time. No big deal. I knew the Paladin was going to be easy. You know, we made the Paladin to blow through the game and get to the end so we could do our Ubers, and he served his purpose. The Necromancer takes just a little bit more love and tender care, and you can't run past everything. right? Like, the more monsters that you run past and have chasing you, the more distractions for your summons. So, at least at this point in our build, it's not going to be ideal. Later on, when we're running Poison Nova, it shouldn't be nearly as much of an issue. Ooh, it's actually starting to hurt. I typically go for a lot of points into skeleton, array skeleton directly, but I think that the mastery is really good. I think it's better. Because you get more damage, more life than what you get for a point. And the problem is, past level 3, it's not like you get an extra skeleton every level. And I really wish that it was. Because obviously more skeletons would scale really nicely, but... it'll be easier to kind of flesh out that kind of stuff when we have more skill points to play with. But for right now, we work with what we have. I heard a drop up here, nice little small charm. You guys can see I'm using a simple loot filter. It's not mainly for this character. It's mostly just because I got back to doing some lower cross runs and I really didn't want to miss any high runes. Some of the chests that you pop, you know, they're spitting items out the door, and you never know. There's a chance that you miss a good item, so I'm trying to limit the use of mods in the Holy Grail. I don't think that the loot filter is anything more than a quality of life, so I hope that you guys agree and you don't see it as any more cheating than respecking on demand, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, saves me a little bit of time. That's about it. I probably won't do like cube mods or inventory mods to get more space, or even stash mods. I'm happy to struggle and use my mules. As we're looking for the waypoint here. And we're having some trouble. Where the hell are you, waypoint? I don't want to spend too much time killing basic monsters. Oh, here he is. Perfect. Okay, let's quickly pick up Blood Raven, because I think it would be nice to have the archer, a little rogue companion. See, like when you run into big groups like this, it takes a little while for 3 skeletons and a golem to take this down, especially when this guy's getting double teamed, you know? This guy's getting triple teamed. They're strong, they're actually holding their own, so I'm happy with that. But they're not the quickest at taking out large groups. I think maybe I was just a little bit, what would you say? A little bit spoiled with the Paladin playthrough. Or was Bishigosh? Because he was just so strong, like, from the very start. And maybe I shouldn't have gotten used to that. But like I said, if it really becomes super unenjoyable for either myself or you guys or both, I'll just lower the difficulty. I'm not dead set on Players 8 being, you know, necessary, but it would be a pretty cool goal. I already kind of broke the Players 8 thing, even with the Paladin. We dropped Players 8 for the second wave of Bale and Hell to combat the magic immunities. So, I already caught a little bit of flack for that, and I'm there with you, I understand. It was almost a true Players 8 run, but I was live and I didn't want to spend 30 minutes killing a single wave, so I made that decision. At least the skeletons have some pretty high defenses, and they're actually doing a decent amount of damage here. Very sweet.
Can't carry anymore. But Raven.
Awesome. Okay. So in the same amount of time that I think I finished all of Act 1 on the Paladin, we have managed to do the first 2 quests and get the Stony Field waypoint. I am going to end this episode here. If you're still here, guys, I really appreciate you watching, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if you guys are enjoying this kind of long-form, kind of slow-paced thing where I ramble on and on. The good news is I don't know how to stop talking, so there's definitely always something for you to listen to. But yeah, let me know. You guys, you enjoy this, or maybe you want to see a more condensed version of the character playthrough. I will probably do, for the most part, a longer style for the Necromancer, but at least moving forward I'll know. We're going to be doing more torch runs in the future and rolling them and deciding our next character. So maybe if it's an assassin, if it's an Amazon, maybe you just want to see Act 1 normal to Act 5 hell in one video where it's really just the good parts. That's fine with me. Just let me know. But either way, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.